From bureaucracy's basement to your ears, this is the weekly meeting of the Queen City Improvement Bureau. Each week, the dedicated staff of the Bureau meet to file reports, make recommendations, and survive on water that drips from the boiler pipes into their open mouths as they sleep in the back room on a bed of dot matrix printer paper. Maybe one day we'll escape from this subterranean hell, but until that day comes, this city is not going to improve itself. So here we stay, improving things. This meeting is now in session.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing so great.
Are you?
Yes.
Not me, man. I'm damp.
Oh no.
So damp.
Yeah. Well, I've been. I've gessoed myself.
Smart.
To keep the damp away.
Yeah, because the damp's coming in. It's coming in under the walls.
Yeah. Well, the damp keeps the gesso from cracking, so I have mobility.
Smart.
Yeah. So good news, I've been updating terms of service for the listeners.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I want to get in on this hot new AI thing that I've been hearing so much about.
So smart. You're so far ahead of the curve.
I am.
On so many things.
Exactly. So
someday they'll invent AI.
Yep.
And you'll be ready for it.
Exactly. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's already been invented. It's already been shown to be a big hot pile of garbage.
Oh, really?
Yep. But people don't seem to know this yet. So, if you're listening to this show, we get to upload your data, aka your minds, and train our AI on it.
Yeah.
So we can just reproduce you in the cloud, and then we don't have to deal with you cranky listeners anymore.
Yep. We'll have AI listeners? Is that what you're telling me?
Exactly. Well, apparently, right now we have like 3 real listeners, but we have a demand for at least 15.
Oh,
so we can make that up by getting like AI listening, AI audience.
Brilliant.
They're so supportive. They will treat us as gods, Paul.
Yeah?
As gods. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be so nice.
I know.
So much better than our current listeners.
No
who
respect.
Just listen to us.
I know.
But have they carried us on their shoulders recently? No.
No. Have they brought us like lambs and goats and whatnot for burning and all that stuff? No.
No. A single statue.
One.
I'd even take a statue in like a crappy metal like bronze.
Like exactly. One. Can we get like one measly temple?
That's all we're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I just want somebody to open up a goat, look at the auspices, and proclaim us as minor gods in the pantheon. That's all I need.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But with AI, they will.
Ooh, there's a problem. I can foresee a problem here.
What's that?
I think demigod would put us out of scope.
Oh, no.
And I don't know. The way things are going at City Hall right now, I don't know if you want to be out of scope.
Yeah, senior management is just basically getting in the cannon. Have a seat in here. We'll stuff you down. What?
Yeah.
What's that burning smell? Oh, no. I'm airborne, etc.
Douche. Tell us what it's like in the underworld. And we're gone.
Say hi to Sharon. Anyway.
Sharon in the underworld?
I don't know.
She works in HR for the underworld.
Sharon. Not that one. But anyway. Yes. So, right. I don't know. What are we talking about? We've got some. Let's do attendance.
Okay.
I'm Aiden, you're Paul.
Yes, I am Paul.
Okay.
And you're Aiden.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was quick.
So fast.
It will never happen again.
The efficiencies we're finding and why it would make a Bezo smile.
Oh, he's looking at the numbers and he's happy.
Always looking at the numbers. He's going to put some KPIs on us.
Right.
Slather them on like margarine.
Delicious margarine.
Hey, so we do have an agenda. Believe it or not.
Good.
Top of the agenda.
Oh, top of the agenda.
Top of the agenda. We should probably mention, top of the agenda, that we are going to be leaving the subbasement next week. Mm-hmm. And we are going to be at the Artesian.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. as part of the Cathedral Village Arts Festival.
Uh-huh.
And we will be doing this scintillating conversation live in front of people.
But it's not just a meeting.
No.
It is the first annual QCIB Urban Optimization Conference.
And networking opportunity.
And networking opportunity seminar.
Yeah.
And symposium.
Yes.
With breakout sessions.
Yeah.
And a free lanyard to the first 120 attendees.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how you'll know that you're officially part of our conference.
Right. And if you're not getting a lanyard, that means two things. One, you showed up late.
Mm-hmm.
Or later than the first 120 people. I don't even know if we fit that many people in the Artesian.
I have no clue.
Me neither.
I think you can pack them, stack them like cordwood. You can fit 300-400.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These people are like cordwood to us. But it also means that you're not real tier 1 attendees. You're kind of like, you've probably been sent from like some kind of ideological training camp to disrupt it.
Yeah.
So if you're there and you've got a lanyard and you see people without a lanyard, like don't start something with them. Don't try and kick them out, but don't make eye contact with them or acknowledge them. If that person is like your spouse or family member, I'm sorry, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Although they may have buttons. There will be buttons.
There will be buttons.
Yeah.
That gives you tier 2 access.
Yes.
Yeah. Which we call super gold access.
Super gold?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I believe the lanyard gives you triple platinum.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Double gold's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm making these up. So if I change
on the fly?
On the fly. So if I change the status tiers by next week, you got to just roll with it.
Yeah.
Because what we say goes, because we're running the conference.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
It should be fun.
It should be
fun.
We
will have guests.
We will.
Yeah, so
it's not just us.
Yeah, it's not just us. We will have Alex Kwan from our local CBC.
A fine journalist.
Yeah, excellent journalist. And assuming the frickin' council meeting that's on next Wednesday ends in time, we will also have Larissa Kurtz from the Leader Post.
Another fine journalist.
Yeah, who was with us at last year's show.
Yes, she was great. She answered questions about the city.
Yeah.
She answered all my questions about the crime plane.
Yeah, she did.
Which was very, very nice of her.
Very patient.
Very patient, yes. Very sporting on Larissa Kurtz. So, yeah. And what else? Do we have any other guests that...
if we do, it will be a surprise.
Whoa. Yeah. It is a little shame. We're on 7:30. Last year we were on late, which is...
Larissa still almost didn't make it.
Yeah. So we don't know if we're going to get Larissa or any surprise guests because it's early in the evening. Council meetings run long.
Yep.
Hint, hint.
Yep. It's going to be great though.
It will be great.
Regardless.
I think we're going to get the Rat King from The Last of Us video game to show up.
I don't play video games. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's big old monster, big old eldritch horror.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Made of rats?
No, made of kings.
Oh, but shaped like a rat.
Actually,
rat, kings pressed into the shape of a rat.
Delicious, like a meatloaf. Rat meatloaf in the shape of a king. No, it's a bunch of fungus monsters all grown into each other.
Oh, okay.
And acting as one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways. Despite all that talk about disgusting fungal creatures,
yes,
we really do hope you'll come to our show next week.
Please do. There will be no disgusting fungus, or will there?
May 21st, 7:30 at the Artesian. The evening will be hosted by David Carnegie of Pass the Hat Comedy, and he will be also introducing after us the survivors of the Fringe. So there will be 3 to 4. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 Fringe plays that... There is no Fringe this year, and so we will be leading into the Fringe What Survives.
Oh, the Fringe that there is.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Anyways, we're on 91.3 FM, CJTR, Regina Community Radio. Access Now in your community, accessing you right now for your data to feed our AI machine.
To replace you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, so something came up this week. We got a new cabinet. Federally.
Yes, we did.
I don't really, don't typically want to talk about federal politics anyways, but there's a new housing minister, and it's Gregor Robertson.
Right.
He used to be the mayor of Vancouver. People have sagely pointed out, this dude oversaw like a massive increase in housing prices in Vancouver. Do we really want him to be our housing minister at a time when affordable housing is so hard to come by?
Mm-hmm.
So he was caught after, the cabinet was announced. He was caught in a press scrum, and he was taking questions. And he had just answered a question about the fact that he was a Vancouver mayor and oversaw like rising housing prices. And he talked about, how he always wished that the federal government would work with cities the way that the Liberal government had been with like the Housing Accelerator Fund.
Right. And
that this is a great program that's going to help cities. So that was a good answer. But then another question was asked. The question is, because I'm going to play a little clip. I'm going to play his response. The question was, do you think, it's hard to hear, but the reporter asks, do you think home prices need to come down? And so I will just play Gregor Robertson, our new housing minister's reply to that question.
Do you think home prices need to go down?
No, I think that we need to deliver more supply, make sure the market is stable. It's a huge part of our economy. We need to be delivering more affordable housing. The government of Canada has not been building affordable housing since the 90s, and we've created a huge shortage across Canada. That's where the big need is right now, and I'm very encouraged that the Prime Minister and our commitment right now in government is the double construction and focus on the affordable side.
So that was new Housing Minister Gregor Robertson.
Oh, that SOB.
That has been the response on social media.
Which is weird because he's reframing the question to say that we need more affordable housing.
Yep.
But I think I've seen the response on social media, and my question is, do you want him to say on air with the housing market listening, yes, lines should go down? Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, that's all there is to it. So I do like that. I kind of respect his adroit dodge. Yeah. And I think building more affordable housing is a good idea. Whether that will happen under his watch, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there is legitimate skepticism about Gregor. I wish Sean Fraser had come back. He was the guy who brought in the Housing Accelerator Fund. Mm-hmm. He seemed clever. He seemed like a clever monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, jury's still, well, the Paul jury is still out.
The Paul jury, the jury of
the jury of Pauls.
Jury of Paul. The Council of Pauls.
Yeah, we haven't decided what we think of Gregor Robertson yet. But, yeah, like, one of the first, like, so there is the second complaint that you get from NIMBYs, if like a duplex is going to get built in an existing neighborhood, the second complaint you get is always, my property values are going to go down.
Yes.
Like, this whole question just sounded like a trap, right? Like, just the way it was phrased, our home price is going to have to come down.
Yeah.
You can tell they're kind of fishing for a yes.
Yeah.
And then, every NIMBY, people who own newspapers, columnists who are national, these people own homes, and they don't want housing prices to come down. So, of course, he can't say that housing prices are going to come down. It would be the biggest news story of the month. Every talking head this weekend on TV their heads would be exploding and just pouring all of their homeowner brains.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, it shows that he isn't disastrously naive.
Yeah.
So, I guess maybe we want politicians to do good things, but not sounding like idiots. I'll take in a pinch.
Yeah. Because guess what? Hey, NIMBYs, housing prices have got to come down. Now, I don't think what's going to happen is they're going to plunge. Like, your house isn't going to next week be worth 50%. Although that would be great.
Yeah.
But over, the line of how quickly they're increasing over time is going to flatten.
Yep.
And in the long term, your house is not going to be worth, you're not going to be going from buying a house for $10,000 and then 30 years later selling it for $2 million. I hope, because that's absurd.
Yeah, I think those days are gone.
Good.
Yeah. Well, you don't enjoy like people just flipping and speculating. And,
No. The whole idea of housing being speculation is absurd. It should never have been. We never should have accepted this narrative that a house is an investment, that land is something that you can speculate. Like your own personal house is your retirement fund. That is dumb. We shouldn't have allowed it. Because it basically means that people who choose to rent for their lives don't get access to this, this generational wealth. Your retirement savings should be your retirement savings. Your house should be your house.
Right. But if you don't pour your money into land, you can't feel like a modern day petty aristocrat.
That's true.
And if there's one thing I know about these people, is that they love to feel like modern day petty aristocrats.
It is the whole dream of the suburbs, right?
Yeah.
Like the suburb is all about, getting to pretend that you're gentry,
right.
That you have like this like house out of a Jane Austen novel that you take your carriage to every day and
I'm sure
tour
if they
the
said,
grounds.
Would you like to own some horses and maybe some people? They'd be like, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, frankly.
Yes.
Not
So anyways.
frankly, it would sound good, but I mean, frankly, they would think so.
Yeah. So, didn't fall into the trap, but I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are a politician as opposed to a politician.
Yeah.
You
I'm
see-
the Council of Pauls. So.
Council of Pauls. I think you need to actually make a track of like just your voice.
Yeah. I might make a
several
button
times. Ooh,
that will only be available to Pauls who show up at our live show. If your name is Paul, you can join the Council of Pauls.
Council of Pauls. Can I start like an army of Aidens?
Oh, you should. That's great.
Army of Aidens.
Yeah. I bet you there's more Pauls.
There's probably you'd be amazed at the number of Aidens out there these
yeah?
days. They're young and spry.
Okay.
And pale and pimply. It's true. Every Aiden I've ever met has been like paler than me. It's really funny.
That's funny. Yeah. Anyways, so that's Gregor Robinson. That's the situation there. Hey, so stuff happened this week at City Council, not just federally.
Wow.
Crap is going on at Regina City Council. There's always a thing.
It's being thrown around.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wanted to first talk about this one thing that this is just something I find amusing, and I know people are going to listen to this next bit that we're doing, and find me to be an insufferable, petty man for doing this and highlighting this, but I have to.
Okay, I'm shocked already.
So this week at Executive Committee, the Buffalo Pound Water Treatment Center, they produce all our drinking water, came out to give their annual report. And basically what they revealed was that things are going okay. The only problem is that they're 6 months behind on the redevelopment.
Right. There's a dispute. There's dispute resolution going on. Yes.
Yeah. There's some contractors that have been logging delays, and they've been frivolous, and so it's going to be going to dispute resolution. And the CEO of the Buffalo Pound Water Treatment Center is very confident that it's going to play out in the city's favor. So they've been withholding funds from these contractors, and it's all going to play out. So hopefully it will come up Regina at this, or Buffalo Pound, anyways.
Everything's coming up Buffalo Pound. Yes.
Yeah. So that's like the biggest problem. It sounds like there was like problems with the solar installation. The solar installer went bankrupt, basically.
What if they stop paying the monkey who's like got his hands on the button that says release the fluoride?
See, that's the other thing that came up.
Oh, did it now?
Yeah.
Wow, I was making a joke, but apparently my jokes come true.
Yeah, they do. Lucky you.
Lucky me.
So, so after this like fairly like optimistic and upbeat report, Councillor Rasevich had some questions. And his first question, and actually I think it ends up being his only question really, is about fluoride. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this man who voted against the fluoridation program. I can't believe he wants to relitigate fluoride. Is he going to do this every time Buffalo Pound comes to council? And so, he's got these questions about fluoride. And what he's been doing is he's been reading, Aidan. And he was reading the report. Now, the report from Buffalo Pound will include this page that tells you about all the impurities in our water. And there's loads, right?
Of course.
Like bacteria and selenium and all sorts of stuff. But they're all at super, super duper duper low levels once they've been processed. And most of it's undetectable. Okay. So he's been looking at this report and he notices that we have naturally occurring fluoride in our water.
Oh my God. Okay.
I would like you can buzz in at any time when you think you've figured out what's going on in this clip.
Okay.
Councillor Rasevich.
Yeah. Hey, through the chair. Hey, I was just looking at water quality standards, like chemicals. I was kind of just flipping through it, and I'm just kind of curious. Because we talked about fluoride, and I'm just looking at the concentration. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it goes like it's 0.12 milligrams per liter in February. I'm assuming this is natural. These are all natural concentrations in the water already, eh? This is kind of interesting. Then in May it's 0.1, and July 8th 0.12, and November 0.12. So is that? Could you talk to that?
Yeah, thank you through the chair. Yes, our water generally has a natural occurring fluoride in the, I think it's about 1.52 or 0.15 milligrams per liter in that area.
Okay.
Our treatment process knocked about half of it out, so we'll be around 0.07, 0.1-ish. And then for Moose Jaw, we top it up to 0.7. For Regina, once we're done the upgrade project, we will then boost Regina to 0.7. So what we do is we take the naturally occurring fluoride that's in the treated water, and then we just top up with the goal of 0.7.
Right, but I guess when you guys are analyzing it naturally, it's much smaller than that, though, right? Like there is some naturally occurring fluoride in the water. Yeah. So if you look at, I got the page here. You're looking at. Here. So this is in the raw water. Let me confirm. No, treated water. So treated water shows the naturally occurring fluoride is about 0.12. Low average is 0.09. High is 0.13. But we would be adding, so the Musha would be adding on the high number, we would have been adding 0.57. Because, I guess what I'm saying is those numbers like 0.12, it's above 0.7, which is recommended, by Health Canada. No, none of those numbers are over 0.7. Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay. So it's well below the natural. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I was just looking at it wrong. Anyways, hey, thanks for the clarification. Appreciate it. Yeah.
So that was Councillor Rasevich asking questions of the CEO of Buffalo Pound.
I think he probably should have gotten Councillor Bizzo to look at the numbers.
He probably should have.
A little more closely.
The beautiful part of this, you can't watch it because this is radio, but he had this poop-eating grin on his face, like, sit. I'm going to catch out. I'm going to catch out the CEO of the Buffalo Pound plant because we got like almost twice as much fluoride.
From what he originally said, clearly he had like misplaced the decimal. We thought it was like 10 times as much, right?
Yeah.
So, and he was, when they pointed out that he was, off by quite the magnitude, I don't think that part of it got to the part of his brain that had like his objection loaded up yet.
Yeah. So anyways, like I say,
maybe
it was a
misspeak,
but still
let the answers slide to the right spot. I don't know.
If you look at a number like that and it looks wildly inaccurate, if you're thinking that like the amount of naturally occurring fluoride is 10 times the safe level and that the plan was to add more fluoride on top of that, and you don't save that information and ask about it in a public forum as a gotcha question of the engineer who runs your water plant. Yeah. You maybe say, oh, hang on a second, honey. Am I looking at these numbers right? And she would say 0.12 is much smaller than 0.7.
Yes.
So.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun little thing.
Yeah.
That you played, that I listened to.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You endured.
I endured, yes. Endurance.
With a smile.
Yes.
All right. Well, on that note, we should go to innovative revenue tools?
Sure. Let's innovate. Let's tool.
I don't know, man. We're back from Innovative Revenue Tools, and I've just learned you're not a Rogue One fan.
I'm not a Rogue One fan. I mean, I do like parts of Rogue One. I like the first scene. I like Ben Mendelsohn as Orson Krennic. I like all the cast. I like Donnie Yen kicking Stormtrooper butt.
He's
with
great.
The staff. Yeah. That was awesome. Like that stuff. Excellent.
Sure.
The movie itself, a mess. Absolute mess.
We are going to have to settle this with lightsabers after the meeting is done.
Yep. We'll get our sabers going.
Decide who the Force favors the most.
Probably you. Anyway, we were listening to some innovative revenue tools as we debated the merits of Rogue One. But I have a question for you, Paul.
Sure.
Do you like to look?
I do like to look.
Huh. But do you like to listen?
I do radio, so listening is my jam.
Wow, but you like to look and listen, but do you like to lottery?
You know what? Things that alliterate, I love them all.
Me too. I like and love to look and listen and lottery, which is why I'm pleased to announce that the Look and Listen Lottery is back.
Groovy.
And it's better than ever.
It's been a while. I've missed it.
It has been a while. It's been a good year, at least. Anyway, AccessNow Radio is raffling off a trip for two to one of three great Canadian destinations. Can you guess what any of these destinations might be?
Lemuria.
Yes, the center of the hollow earth. That's one of them. Yeah, Canada's claimed it. I'll give you one more guess.
Okay.
Atlantis.
Brobdingnagia.
Yes, we're going to Brobdingnagia, where you can hop around on the shoulders of giants. Anyway, no. The three destinations are a hiking adventure in Victoria, BC, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Quebec City. The hotel's in a 400-year-old fort. Or a Northern Lights experience in Yellowknife.
Cool.
In the Northwest Territories. I agree. That's the one that caught my eye. I'm like, yes. So you should get your tickets now for a chance to win. The draw date is June 16th. So make sure you get your tickets before then, because if you get your tickets after June 16th, you've been scammed.
Yeah.
So for more information or to get your tickets, go to accessnowradio.ca/lottery, accessnowradio.ca/lottery, lotto license RR25-0037. And if you have trouble remembering the June 16th date, just think my mom's birthday.
Oh.
To be
like your mom specifically.
Yes. I mean, to be clear, though, my mother's birthday is actually in July.
Oh.
But I always think it's in June.
Oh, do you?
So, yes.
That's very funny.
So every time I'm like, June 16th. No, it's the next month. So.
Nice.
All right.
Well, happy birthday to your mom if I forget.
Yeah. Well,
in July or June.
I won't forget, but I will think it's in June.
Right.
So.
Cool. All right. Well, good luck, everybody.
Good luck. Yes. So line up and start the race now. There's no race.
I'd really like it if a Queen City Improvement Bureau listener was the winner too, because then they could carry the torch of the Queen City Improvement Bureau to wherever they win.
Yeah, and they could say the Queen City Improvement Bureau saved my life.
Yes, because
the day after I left, somebody firebombed my house. Phew, what luck. I'm in Yellowknife and not at home.
Nice. All right. Shall we carry on with the agenda?
Yes, we shall. And I don't recommend anybody firebomb anybody's house.
No, especially not because you lost the lottery. That's just petty.
We're going to firebomb the winner's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got some good news.
I love good news.
I've got some good news, and then I've got some stupid news.
I kind of like stupid news, too, actually.
Okay. Well, let's do the good news first.
All right.
The city is applying for some money.
Whoa! I love it. Yep.
Yeah. So you've heard about Taylor Field, right?
I have.
So that's like that vacant land.
Yep. Where the utopia of affordable housing was going to be built.
Yes. Well, it's been sitting unbuilt for like 10 years.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for something to happen there. It was supposed to be part 2 or part 3, depending on how it played out of the Regina Revitalization Initiative, which is going to be stadium, yards, Taylor Field. Mm-hmm. And we only got the stadium. And everything else has just been languishing in development hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm surprised, but anyway.
So anyways, there's this thing called the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund. And it is now open to applications under, I believe it's some provincial stream. And according to the rules, you can apply if you have like a water infrastructure project, if it will help facilitate the construction of housing. Because this is a problem in like established neighborhoods where they want to build density, is that often the water infrastructure is either like old and failing or wasn't built for a significant population.
Right.
So, anybody can apply under this. And what they're going to be applying for is $20.9 million. Well, $20.9 million would be going into water infrastructure to make Taylor Field ready to be built, but 10.9 would be coming from the federal government. Mm-hmm. We would have to make up our portion, which I think would be a quarter of the 20, right? Because the province will also be kicking in money. So this is good news, assuming we get this money. We don't know if we will. They just administration had to like request approval to like submit an application. So a bunch of discussion came out of this, and I just wanted to play Councillor Sickley's. I wanted to play a little of what Councillor Sickley's had to say on this.
Okay.
I guess the first line that comes to my head is better late than never. And I want to leave this on a positive, but I'll start on a negative. We told our people that when Taylor Field was knocked down, we would build affordable housing. That was more than 8 years ago. Shame on us. There's a reason we lost trust with the electorate, and this is one of the big reasons. So when my colleague, Councillor Bizot, asked this question, I think he just wants to put a fire under everyone to make sure that we get shovels in the ground. It's not going to happen this year, as far as I understand. And not to throw anyone under the bus, as negative as that sounds, I think it's really important that we follow through on our promises. Otherwise, don't make them. So, I'm so happy to see this come in front of us, and it's got my full support. Thank you.
So that was Councillor Sickley's.
Okay. Congratulations, Councillor Sickley's, on these words. I gotta say.
I don't know. Like, I share some of the sentiment, right? Like, it is ridiculous that we've been waiting this long for this to happen. But my eyes kind of roll. First of all, who's this we? Like, where was Councillor George Sickley's for the last 8 years?
Where were you, George?
Where were you? What were you doing, George? Why weren't you fighting for Taylor Field, George? Until he got on council, he wasn't paying attention to a lot of this stuff. Secondly, he's one of the councillors who ran on, I'm going to cut spending, I'm going to find efficiencies. It is this like rush to the bottom on spending that has led to things like Taylor Field being delayed for 8 years because these projects are underfunded, under-resourced. We don't have enough staff. He's one of the people who wanted to get rid of a ton of like managers during the budget time.
Of course.
These are the people who like make projects like this happen. So if you continually try to like starve the city of resources, of course projects like Taylor Field are going to get, delayed infinitely because every year you're trying to like keep the mill rate cut to to nothing. And so I don't know. I wonder what kind of speeches are going to be made once the bills for Taylor Field start to come in.
You're correct. It is easy to make speeches. It is harder to follow through when you start looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
And we did hear later on in this meeting, Councillor Mancinelli was asking questions about, are we sure this is the best place to put our money? Perhaps if it's easier to build in greenfield, this money would be better served to enable greenfield development. This is the debate that's been going on for the last 10 years, and any sort of development money and any development sort of like effort and attention has been going into greenfield and not into the core of the city. So, that impulse is right there on council right now to give the most of their attention to greenfield development, suburban development.
So wouldn't it be nice to actually have Taylor Field actually get developed?
Yeah.
That giant empty space.
It would be great.
It would be great.
But I did notice there was something else.
What did you
Something
notice?
else in this whole thing I thought was curious and concerning. I'm a little alarmed by this, but I'm not saying the sky is falling at this. There was a question from Councillor Rasevich that I found administration's response was interesting.
Through the chair, I think it's great that this money is kind of showing up. I guess just my question is, obviously our contribution of this would be $3.8 million. So do we know where that's coming from yet? Or is it in the budget already?
Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, and through the chair. Great question. So as Mr. Jedlick had outlined, this year's plan is to do has budget for it to do the design work.
The $1 million.
The work would then be pushed into 2026-2027 budget, which we would put in there, and this would all run through the land development reserve. So this is part of that long-term plan.
The land development reserve. Why, that sounds familiar, Aidan. Where have I heard land development reserve before? Could it have been last week when City Council was taking out a big old schwack of cash to hand it to Costco? It was. Yeah, last week, the big Costco handout.
From the Land Development Reserve.
$6.78 million taken from the Land Development Reserve to give to Costco to catalyze development in a suburb of Westera.
The
greenfield housing development.
The place that in the neighborhood that someone, not me, described last week as the splooge by the blob.
Yes, that was. Who was that?
I don't know.
Huh.
He just showed up. He said something like highly contentious.
For the record, before we get in trouble for language on this show, splooge.
Yes.
17th century word, refers to the drippings from a damp mop.
I believe you. I knew that when you used it, or when somebody ran in here and used it.
Yes.
I understood the context. I didn't know the damp mop part, but I knew it was an innocent term.
Of course. Only innocent terms around here.
Exactly.
Speaking of.
We should talk about seals in French. just for fun. No.
Just for kicks. Just like kids in French immersion. Anyways, so there was a question last week from one of the councillors, and it was about this. When the money was coming out of the Land Development Reserve to give to Costco, Councillor Turnbull was asking some questions about opportunity cost. Mm-hmm. What are we giving up? What are we not funding from the Land Development Reserve that we could be with this money? And I found Canada administration's response interesting.
You mentioned the yards. Would this affect the yards project or any developed in the yards?
Through the mayor, I would say that, those are, to do any sort of development, you require funds. And so, the way we're projecting out our cash flows, if you have money that you wish to invest into land development, it can have impacts, certainly, in terms of the timing of development. So that's probably the best answer I can give.
Okay.
So that wasn't a no. What was that voice?
I don't know.
That
wasn't a no.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a no.
It wasn't a no.
Yeah. In fact, what he said basically was that depending on the timing of when you want to spend money from the Land Development Reserve to develop some other land, I think he's kind of saying, yes, this could have an effect. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to find out, well, heck, I wonder what the Land Development Reserve could possibly be. So here's this big report on Costco where they're going to be taking $6.8 million out of the Land Development Reserve. I thought, well, obviously in this report, there would be like a line that says the Land Development Reserve current balance is, and this is what it will do to the Land Development Reserve. But there wasn't. There was just a mention that they're taking money out of the Land Development Reserve, but I couldn't anywhere in the report find what the Land Development Reserve balance was. I have not had time to go through the entire debate on the Costco thing. It's very long, but I don't recall when watching it a number actually being cited. It might be there, but I do not recall a current balance on the Land Development Reserve being cited in that debate. So I had to go hunting because it's just not there. And the thing you can't do, I really wish when the city's website was updated, and they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on it,
right,
that they had fixed the system for city reports so that you could do Boolean searches on, the reports that go to council, so you could find when things happened. Because if you don't know the month or day, or like basically the day that a report is considered, finding it in there is really hard. And I couldn't remember when the last Land Development Reserve balance was mentioned. So I had to go hunting, and I found some information. And I'm not 100% sure that these numbers are current as of today. But what I found was at a March 26th meeting of council, the Land and Real Estate Report was considered, and it did talk about the Land Development Reserve. And what it said that at the end of 2024, the balance of the Land Development Reserve was $1,227,338, That's small.
Well, are you claiming that?
Oh, I'm not done.
Oh,
there's more to this story.
More. Okay.
Yeah. So in this report, they also were adding $9.3 million to the Land Development Reserve. It was unspent money. I could not find anywhere in that report an explanation of what that was for, and I wasn't going to go back and listen to that whole debate again, but they did mention in the Costco debate that the reason the Land Development Reserve was recently topped up is because the Viterra project, which is this canola crusher project, has not received final approval from Viterra. So that project is stalled, and there was money set aside from that to support the development of the land for the Viterra project, their industrial canola project. So that $9.3 million was put into the Land Development Reserve. $1 million was taken out at this land and real estate meeting in March, and that was going to be used for design on the Taylor Field project. So after all of that, that leaves us with $9,527,345 in the Land Development Reserve. And as far as I can tell, and like I say, I could be missing a report or three, it's hard to say. After you take out the $6,780,000 for the Costco handout, that leaves us with a Land Development Reserve of $2,747,345, and that's what we've got. And we need 3.8 to fund the development of Taylor Field if we get this money from the federal government. So we're short. Like $1 million and change.
That's not enough
currently. Now, on the good news side, in this Land and Real Estate Report, they do mention that it's coming up for China. We've got a bunch of neighborhoods that we're developing, like the towns, and that we've been selling land and developing that land. And when those neighborhoods are completed, that money gets released into the Land Development Reserve. So they're estimating that there will be money moving into the Land Development Reserve in future. But how much that is, I can't tell you. All I know is that, right now, I think I know why they didn't list what the current balance of the Land Development Reserve was in that Costco debate, because it shows just how close to the bottom we're skirting by taking that money out and giving it to Costco.
So I am curious as to like how many funds. Why am I saying this so foolishly? I'm curious as to whether the land development reserve gets replenished regularly, like what the general state of it is, because I mean reserve funds often will like go up and down according to need and according to so like different projects needing the money or releasing the money back in. So I don't know. Obviously, I don't have the full scope of this either.
Yeah, neither do I.
But that's
to be fair. To be fair.
But I guess there's one Terra is as good as another Terra from Vi to Wes.
I guess. I think one of the things about that Viterra project, though, is that it was one of those like economic engines that was moving into Regina.
That's right.
That was supposed to justify the development of West Terra, right? They were going to have all these young families moving in to construct the new facility, and then the families who were moving to Regina to work at the new facility and all the spin-off benefits that came from it. This was supposed to be the engine that was like giving us optimism for our housing future. And now that project is not looking so optimistic.
Well, I mean, I guess there's going to be a big Costco there then.
Yeah.
So people can shop if
people with no job.
People
with no canola crushing jobs.
That's right. No canola crushing jobs, but cheap hot dogs.
Yes, exactly.
Fair enough.
And I do also think it's funny that there was this concern about should we be using land development reserve money for the core or should we be using it for the fringe?
Right.
And here we are spending 6.7
on the fringe.
On the sprawl, basically.
What I'm worried about in all this, though, is all that uncrushed canola.
Right.
Like you need
just sitting there.
You need to crush it, otherwise, like the sheer volume will like drown us all.
It might.
Regina will be covered in uncrushed canola, so that canola crushing project can't get here soon enough.
Sir, I am with you.
Thank you.
I got one last item.
Hit me.
Okay.
Not literally.
So we're going to be borrowing money. So on top of all this, we're going to get like $10 million, but we need to borrow $115 million.
Oh, cool.
Okay. This money, most of it's going to be going to the water pressure solution, formerly the Eastern Pressure Solution.
That still sounds like a band from 20 years ago. Anyway.
Yeah. And the rest is going to be going to the unfunded development charge projects. All of this has been approved. This $115 million that needs to be borrowed was approved in the budget. There's been a borrowing report. It came forward and said, oh, hey, take note, council. This was like a couple of weeks ago. Take note. Big borrowing a coming.
Yeah.
Well, when it came to council this week, Councillor Bezo had some questions.
Ooh. Man of numbers.
The question that I have is really looking at the bigger picture and more looking at that higher level overview, looking at more debt, more budget items, more tax implications. Can I ask you a question specifically on this one? We're going through the report and it's stating another mill rate increase specifically for the additional money that's being borrowed. What does this implication look like so far as projected in the 2026 budget? Where we'd be sitting at with this new ask of this borrow compared to where we're going to be sitting in for 2026? Do we have any foresight on what's happening for 6 months down the road for another budgetary increase?
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, through the chair. So yes, as noted in the report, our estimate right now, again, we don't know what market rates will be when we issue the debt, but our estimate right now would be in that 2.2% mill rate increase to cover for the debt for it would be issuing this year. So that would go on to next year's mill rate.
Okay. Through the chair, I'm going to ask specifically on this report. I'm getting an uneasy feeling with how much debt is going to be issued out there and implications on our budget coming up in 2026. I'm going to ask for a tabling motion to be put forth at this time to push this thing out for 30 days so we can actually have a bit of a deeper dive with respect to this debt and with respect to what the bigger picture would look like. And through the chair, Mr. Anderson, does this pose any issues if we table this and push this thing out for a little while?
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, and through the chair, this would have significant impact on our ability to raise the funds this year. As it was approved in the budget already, it's a requirement. So if we didn't get this funding, we would have a $115 million deficit, which by law would require us to collect all of that in the following year through the mill rate. So I would recommend not pausing this. I'd also like to remind Council that last week the debt report came through Council at the Council meeting with the long-term implications and the long-term plan, around our overall plan for debt and what's been asked through the SMB in terms of debt allocation.
So, you would think that at that point, Councillor Bizot would go, okay, we don't need to delay this. Undeterred was the Bizot.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Can't deter him, I guess.
$115 million. If because of a delay, administration was unable to negotiate the borrowing and it went into deficit, and by law, that deficit had to go on to the mill rate, that would be, assuming $3 million are raised off each mill rate point, that would be a 38-point-something mill rate increase next year. Worst case scenario here. And Councillor Bizot insisted on going forward. He tried to negotiate down to a 2-week delay, but was informed that actually there is no meeting in 2 weeks, so it turned out to be a 3-week delay. When it was pointed out that we already got the borrowing report, this borrowing has already been approved in the budget. Everybody knew about this borrowing. This is not a surprise. He insisted on having a vote on this referral motion, and it failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can file this one away into the performative nonsense that goes nowhere file.
Right.
But it's just, this is the kind of stuff that goes on every week. This is what happens when you have people who get elected on, I'm going to find the efficiency, and just walk into a room assuming they know better than everybody there who does this stuff for a living, how this stuff works.
Yeah.
They wind up getting their questions answered, and in this case, ignoring the answers and just blundering forward.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, respectfully, that's been kind of Councillor Bizot's mode, is to ask the tough questions and ignore the obvious answers.
Yes.
Yeah. That's just
another
seems to be
button.
What he does. Anyway, but that's but I mean, what I'm hoping is, this is his first term.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping is that after this sort of first cycle of budgeting and stuff, he'll realize that some of his questions don't need to be asked; they're already been answered, and that he should read reports.
Yeah.
Maybe before he asks these questions.
Yeah. All right. Well, on
that'll
that
happen.
note,
That'll happen. So.
Yeah. Anyways, on that note.
That
upbeat note.
A very upbeat note.
Yeah, we should probably consider, time's running out.
All right. So maybe move to adjourn? Is that what I'm hearing from you right now?
I would second that motion.
All right. Motion is passed. Meeting is adjourned. You've been listening to the Queen City Improvement Bureau on 91.3 FM, CJTR, AccessNow Community Radio. Tune into the community. Your hosts are Paul Deschen and Aidan Morgan. Music by Guidewire and Kim Fury. What else? Oh, we are broadcast live from 7 to 8 p.m. on Thursday evenings, and again rebroadcast Monday afternoons 3 to 4 p.m. You can find us on the radio or cjtr.ca on the podcast section. You can also find us on our website, queencityib.com. And we like to post on Blue Sky. Paul does CL coverage. I say nonsense. It's a delight. Come find us there. Yeah. If there's anything else? I don't think so.
Yes, there is.
What else?
We got a show. Live show. May 21st. Don't miss us. Live at the Cathedral Village Arts Festival.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It is.
It's a thing, yes.
We really hope to see as many people. And, make sure you come up and talk to us, because,
Please do. But especially if you have a lanyard.
Especially if you have a lanyard.
Yeah. If you don't, we're just not going to acknowledge you.
I love everybody, whether you have a lanyard or not.
You bleed not. Anyway, that's it. Keep on improving.